Space nerds, it's monthly report time. It's like one of their favorite times of the month, dude. The February monthly report is usually actually a pretty interesting one. The last year one, I think, they didn't give us too much in January, so when February came out, it was like gigantic. Yeah, look at this. Freaking huge. This is the best part of the monthly report. This is where all the good stuff is happening that we'll actually get to try out. And it was huge last February. This February, not so much. So there's going to be some good stuff here that we'll go over. A lot of that excitement's probably going to come from the tech preview testing and Evocati testing and stuff going on this week. Let's jump in. In the AI content team, the social AI team began the month bug fixing in support of Alpha 4.6 before looking to future releases. AI content worked alongside mission design to set up characters that players will meet in some of the new in-game loops. Love to meet some characters. We do not get enough characters to meet in this game. I feel like one of the best parts of a mission that feels narrative is when you can meet somebody midway and actually have a conversation, and your contract, your mission changes because of that conversation. They also provided the initial setup and placeholder lines so the designers and directors can test the game flow with the sample lines in place. This allows the writers to react and refine the dialogue, ensuring it's working in context and providing appropriate information. The team also continued to outline their prospective goals for the upcoming year and define what would be needed for other teams to facilitate their implementation. The thing that gets me whenever you're recording something or writing something, you guys might also experience this. You get through your whole thing, you write down all the content, you feel good, and then you go through and you look at the finished product, and you're like, oh, this line would work a lot better there. I don't know how many of you guys make YouTube videos, but that happens to me with a lot of my YouTube videos. It's actually the worst part about being stuck to a timeline. Like people will say that YouTubers are doing specific videos because they want to make a certain amount of money. Generally, people don't choose videos based on money. They choose their timeline. So like, some people can make one video, right? And that covers them for the whole month. So they can make a video a month and then focus all their time on putting that together. Some people have to make a video every day. It just depends. But the amount of time that you get to put the video together is so freaking, in my opinion, it leads to a better final product because you can actually finish what you were doing, look at it, and be like, oh, there's a better angle here. There's something I could have doubled down on more here. I could have done more of. And you always end up getting a better product that way, in my opinion. That sounds kind of like what this is. Like, if once you get to do a placeholder, you basically get to finish what you're doing and see how it plays out. And that gives you way better perspective than just going through it once and releasing the voice lines. Also, how you miss really bad glitches slipping through QA. AI on the features and tech team. Last month, AI features and tech improved underground traversal for the Valakar. They're still working on that. This has been going on for a little while. They're prototyping its future speeds. The creature's behavior was also updated, including linear acceleration and deceleration when traversing during combat. We know from even just the last couple of monthly reports that the Valakar is getting a lot of work done on it. Clearly, it is their hope to get this thing into the game so that it can actually move around and fight us how they initially introduced it, as opposed to what we're getting right now at the Lazarus facility. Here it is last month. They were ensuring that the Valakar could move freely around planetary nav meshes for more profound underground movement. That work continues. We'll keep an eye on how well it goes. An issue was also fixed with toy guns triggering weapon fire and bullet hit sound effects, which caused NPCs to cower. Accuracy calculations were also modified to give design better control over them. This is not the only reason NPCs were cowering. They also would cower if you backspaced in front of them. So that's just one of many fixes, I'm sure. The team then improved how safe zones function within the global perception system. Designated areas where players can rest or regroup without being detected by NPCs. Work was also done on integrating the voxel grid, which is currently in extensive QATR testing. Finally, the team began supporting refueling missions on the AI side. I'm interested in seeing how these refueling missions go. If they can get AI to actually refuel us, I'm curious of how much more they can get AI to do. Animation. They spent February improving assets for the Copion, while facial animation focused on the first performance capture shoot of the year. This was held at the end of February and captured numerous new characters. Interesting they're doing improvements on the Copion. I wonder what, like, we haven't heard anything about a new fauna coming lately, but I believe we did last year. They just kind of stopped talking about that. I don't remember where it was last year. I probably won't be able to find it just by guessing some month. But at some point, they were talking about working on a new animal, and I don't think we ever saw it. They also discussed a dog capture with animal trainers. What the hell? New animations, another new shoot, mission giver. Hey, here's something they talked about. This time they captured content for a new mission giver as well as multiple voice packs for NPCs throughout the Nyx system. The mission giver won't appear until a future patch. We're still waiting for that. There is a mission giver coming to the Nyx system that will be probably giving us some good new missions to run. Let's try September real quick, see if that was it. Upcoming creature and boss fight. That was probably the Yormandi. Yeah, I don't know where they talked about the new creature. We saw it was like a little cow thing somewhere. I think it was the weapons content team, maybe. Let's continue. That's not really that important. Fauna has been going well, and I do hope that we can see some new ones a little bit soon, because their implementation into crafting is also a nice touch. Art on the character side. February saw character art polishing assets for Alpha 4.7, alongside working through art debt in preparation for Starware. The team also continued to work on new gang outfits and subscriber flare items. We haven't heard about Starware in a little while. Getting through art debt for Starware does kind of mean, like, if you don't get rid of art debt if you expect the debt to come back up. It's sort of like continuously moving to launch Starware after that. The importance of Starware, for those who don't know, it is not some cool new technology. It's literally just armor. Well, there's two parts to it, really. There's the part that is this, that people really love and will glitch the game to try and do themselves. And no, that doesn't mean dancing.
Jacket on top of an undersuit? Yes. Yeah. How about an armor on top of a sleeveless shirt? Or even without no shirt at all? Like backpacks on clothing? Yeah. So Starware allows more customization than ever. But be careful, certain gameplay implications will still be true. And
so I think this is coming at a pretty opportune time. Because with inventory changing and the armor system changing, it does feel like maybe that means we'll see, golly gee, what? Yeah, here we go. So this, I think, is something that's coming with inventory changes. Excuse me. That is to say modular inventory, the ability to split up little bags and put them all across your body and carry little things in the side of them. I think that the inventory change and Starware all coming at the same time would make a ton of sense. And we will see.
If a pair of pants look particularly armored, chances are they'll have modest damage mitigation to match.
Yeah, so this is the other side of Starware. Stats.
So that's flinch, stagger, and knockdowns, which brings me on to a full suit feature. If the player is wearing a full set of heavy combat armor, they'll not be able to be knocked down by small arms fire.
So all of this is to support the idea that different armor will be more rare. It will be more useful. It'll be valuable to certain people. Some people really don't want heavy armor because they don't care about protection. They might really value the ability to stay stealthy, not be able to get triggered by FPS scanning. So, it'll be more valuable to them. Maybe that's not you. You can find that stuff and sell it. It starts to create a little bit of an economy when the armor is where all the value lies rather than the character skills that you're trying to upgrade or unlock over time. So this has been a big thing that the game's been waiting for progression. It's nice to see them talking about it. Doesn't mean it's coming into the game soon, but I do think if they're getting rid of art debt, then we're preparing for some kind of a launch. And hopefully it's in the next couple of updates because I think it would land very nicely with crafting. The concept team also explored new combat armors and prepared handoff sheets for upcoming mandates. We know there's a combat armor coming in the next update. I think another heavy armor, so it will have stats similar to something like this when those stats do start to come out. All right, we're going to skip the ships. You know how it is. We go back to ships a little bit later on. We'll cover that with the ship shipping sheet. Core gameplay. As seen by Evocati players during recent tech previews, the core gameplay team made solid progress on the inventory rework. Final polish and bug fixes are underway as the team prepares for it to release. That's fantastic. That's great to hear. I like that. At least it's getting close to release. Capital ship services progressed well too and will be delivered to downstream teams soon. Whoa, faster than I would have thought. The team's focus was also on social features demonstrated during CitizenCon 2954. Let's go, dude! The kids love social features. Okay. I would have loved a longer core gameplay section, but the updates we did get from it were nice and sweet. That being said, I was hoping maybe we would see something small in 4.7 for social. I guess it'll be coming in 4.8. The funny thing about it is just like they've been teasing social feature changes now for 2 loading screens, which is longer than they usually do. So I'm guessing maybe there was a little bit of a setback there. Capital ship services is going to be like landing inside of cap ships and repairing and rearming. I actually want to double check if it includes rearming because that takes away a lot of fun for people if it does. So they talk about that here.
Come down, and then the capital ships can get of ammo and munitions and ballistics, and you're going to want to top up.
Why is it all so quiet?
This is where we're going to get our new feature in. Ship hangar refueling and rearming. You're going to be able to land in the hangar of select ships and be able to use the same interface as you are right now at stations to refuel and rearm.
It's specifically...
So it's an interim solution, but it's basically so that you can use capital ships as actual capital ships. That's for the strike teams. I figured the strike teams was a late year kind of addition, so I'm surprised to see it going downstream teams so early, but that's good. Economy. What's economy team doing these days? The economy team spent part of February tracking exploits, in particular those that resulted in item duplication or large quantities of AUEC being generated. Okay, so remember, a few months ago they said they wanted to make sure that all of these exploits were taken care of for a good while before they decided to do a reset. Now they're starting to look at them from the economy team's perspective. Are they fixed? They continue by saying, while many loopholes have been closed, further patches will be introduced in 4.7. Following this, the devs will create additional guardrails and monitoring systems to lessen the impact of illicit AUEC on the wider game economy. I would not expect a wipe to the economy until they've done that. This sounds kind of like a soft, like a little bit of setting expectations on a timeline. We know for a fact that they're not going to finish this. We're not going to do any sort of wipes until this is done. We know here that they're going to be introducing new patches to the 4.7 branch to fix it. So they do want to get it figured out before 4.8 comes out. After that, probably in the 4.8 cycle, they'll start to do something to set more guardrails. So there's a pretty good chance that there's no wipe till after 4.8. That being said, don't take any words on it as law. Doesn't mean that one is coming. The economy also undertook additional balancing and adjustments to commodity, pricing, and trade routes, while laying the groundwork for future systems such as item recovery and crafting. Ooh boy. That means that they are figuring out the pricing it's going to cost for us to get our goods back when we die. If you didn't know, item recovery is an ongoing part of Star Citizen. It is not staying how it is, which is like when you die, you get to keep a lot of your stuff. That's going away. Item recovery tier 1 has been waiting for crafting to come into the game, and it will tell you here in the description when they announced it last year that when you die, your stuff will now disappear like it did before. We're going back to full loot. But players can register their equipped items, which can be reclaimed for a fee at a specific kiosk or freight elevator. So that fee is probably what the economy team is starting to look into. Something that's good to note here, little quality of life improvement. With this new item recovery tier 1, you'll no longer respawn with your preserved gear already equipped, yes. But they are developing a quality of life feature to allow you to re-equip all of your previous loadout with one auto-equip button, which I think people have been wanting longer than they've wanted any of this stuff. So the economy team's looking into this, which means it's starting to get close to implementation. Once crafting lands, keep an eye out for talk on this. They said, we are glad to see the positive community response to the Clear the Air live event. We are currently working on upcoming missions balancing and rewards while also looking back at our past content and performing an additional pass on Wicklow related content. You guys like that? Can we hear it for Wicklow, dude? Everybody's favorite alien. Much love, Wick. In February, the mission design team continued to work on the Alpha 4.7 mission pack, which adds more content to Nyx and revives the courier missions that have been waiting for a refactor since 4.0. Okay, so finally getting a big piece of the mission chains that we've been waiting for coming back into the game. Big question for me is, do these courier missions end up being the better newcomer contract to take, or do the starting mining missions? We'll have to test that out on stream when they come out. As they said before, they have split those into some different changes based on small design changes around cargo hauling. As an example, courier missions now range from one-handed items to two-handed boxes. Delivery missions range from 1 SCU box to 6 1 SCU boxes. And hauling starts from 6 SCU upwards. They also said defend ship missions have received an update allowing the team to accurately track the health of the ship. This will prevent the ship from appearing at almost full health before dying. Love that, dude, when they're like, oh, thanks, you finally showed up. Where'd you go? Ah! You're like, dude. Shipwave missions have been expanded to other contractors outside of Gilly, including a variation that ends with a large ship boss. Love a ship boss. Narrative. In February, the narrative team focused their efforts on Alpha 4.7, which will expand the content available in Nyx. This involved extensive work on the new locations, including the QV breaker stations, home of the Rockcracker missions, and the People's Service stations, which, can I just say, I thought I did have those pulled up before. So this is actually surprising to me. Well, not surprising to me. Something I was hoping about. We were talking about this maybe last month. We were saying, hopefully, the space stations they bring into Nyx are not just the same stations we've had before with another coat of paint. They're not. They're Levski with another coat of paint. These are the new space stations coming to Nyx, and they're more focused on looking industrial, like old mining stations. It says, discovered in 2582, the Nyx system was left unclaimed by the UEE after deciding its 3 planets were not terraforming candidates, and attempts to mine the dense glacium ring were deemed too dangerous. In 2618, a group of political activists and refugees fleeing the Messer regime moved into a vacated mining facility located in Delamar, a moon-sized asteroid deep within the system's belt. Compared to the polarized Stanton and Pyro system, Nyx sits in between in terms of safety, amenities, and accessibility. And although its most famous outpost Levski is operated by the people for the people, the needs of interstellar commerce haven't entirely bypassed Nyx, thanks to 8 jump points including to commercially viable systems like Stanton and Castra. Significant traffic flows through the space lanes. For those travelers who don't want to or need to take in the sights and sounds of Levski, enterprising occupants have set up familiar, though uniquely presented, rest stops at key locations around the system. Calling them familiar and uniquely presented kind of tells me they look cool on the outside, but they're probably going to be the same on the interior. I hope not. Let's see. They said they split the development between various teams, level design, art, and games design, missions design. Initially, the needs of the stations are determined by game design. They said the Nyx social stations are places inside astrobelts for players to refuel, repair, and rearm their ships, as well as getting a break during long travels. They usually have a small assortment of shops, as well as the occasional food establishment. Clinic services are available, and they also provide a place to sleep. Rest stops can serve both small and large ships through their hangars and docking tubes. However, parking space is limited. They said Vandal attacks are a threat in the Nyx system, so stations have not developed around the Virgil jump point. So there's probably a dead spot in the Nyx system that we'll see. They say design goals wise, it looks like they have everything that any other space station in Stanton and Pyro does have. Missions wise, they'll have resource gathering, hauling, courier, and patrol missions. I'm glad they have resource gathering missions. That sounds like fun. And then there's a style guide. Here we go. Here's some interior stuff. Following designs, a preliminary layout of location modules is created that includes everything required from gameplay and narrative perspective. Not really enough to be able to tell if it looks that much different. It looks like it might use the same interior assets as Levski, which don't look that far away from Lorville, but they can make it look different. So 4 rest stops will be live in the PU with 4.7, each being in the Keeger asteroid belt. So the Glacium Ring isn't going to have these stations, just the Keeger. That's a little look into those space stations, but that's something that they've been working on for a little while now, and I'm hoping that we do see more localized gameplay in those locations, because it's nice to have little pieces of gameplay you can do in a space station when you're stopping off for a couple hours. Looking ahead, the team wrote scripts and completed a capture session for a variety of new NPCs. This work is related to an upcoming gameplay loop that will be released later this year and includes a new faction representative. That might be a mission giver. That very well could be the NPC they were saying was getting lines earlier up on the monthly report. The session also involved additional content for the Tactical Strike Group missions featured at last year's CitizenCon. A lot of content still coming in this year, even though the features are starting to come in. It's great to see. Narrative also wrote a script for a new story mission that will be an important step towards establishing the pipeline needed for delivering the 1.0 main story content to players. Are they starting work on the main storyline? Star Citizen's main storyline may have begun development here. Finally, the team have been developing a storyline that will introduce in a future release that will see players face down an interesting new faction. We've got a new faction representative. We know that we've got Van Duel stuff going on. Tactical Strike Groups is happening. New social stations coming in. Rock Cracker missions happening. Main storyline is going on. There's a lot narratively that's going on in Star Citizen. Like, this didn't used to happen. We didn't used to get narrative. Basically, before last year, we didn't get narrative stuff. So yeah, narrative didn't really happen much before. You can actually go back to the Star Citizen like 2024 May monthly report, I want to say, maybe May or April monthly report. And they actively acknowledged that narrative team was finally turning away from Squadron 42 to start working more on, let's see, okay, blah, blah, blah. As part of 1.0 development, further work was done on the location stories for the major landing zones. Okay, let's see if it was the one before that, April. Looking ahead, the team helped with the upcoming Invictus Week. Additionally, the narrative team did a lot of planning and pre-production work on Star Citizen 1.0. All right, one more try, March. If it's not March, then I give up. But back during 2024, the narrative team came out and they were like, yo, we're pretty much all good to go on the Squadron 42, so we're going to start putting out Star Citizen stuff. And we were like, oh, what does that mean? And then 2025 hit and we started getting more narrative missions, and now we can see it's turning into a main storyline. But it does not look like this was the monthly report I was looking for. Online technology is our next section. In February, the network team focused on improving stability and reliability across hybrid DGS, resolving several high-impact crashes, watchdog timeouts, and replication errors. The team advanced integration of the new SCP network stack into patch branches, addressing build issues and conflicts, and continued QDSM v1, v2 development and testing to improve dynamic server scaling. Don't say they don't bug test. Alongside this, the team implemented authority replication improvements, refactored streaming bind and unbind logic, and enhanced observability with new engine metrics. Moreover, support was provided for item imprint development and mission markers. Finally, the team also provided support for bootstrap and developer workflow issues. At risk of sounding a little bit sexual, it does sound like they are hardening server meshing. I don't know what the any of this means, but it all comes off to me like the team has launched their product and they're now like sticking their fingers in and tweaking the dials and making sure everything is actually working correctly. All the problems that we noticed in server meshing over the last year, it feels like they're optimizing, which would be phenomenal. Next part says, following last year's internal demo of item recovery tier 1, I'm sorry, did we know that? The online services team prepared for a feature-complete internal demo and finalized the remaining work in preparation for its upcoming release. So that kind of confirms what we were looking at earlier. Item recovery tier 1, they worked on it last year. We saw them literally say that they were working on it, I think, in the summer. And it was going, and then they just didn't really say anything. And you were wondering, are you guys putting it on the back burner? Did you just finish the work that you needed to do? Are you waiting for something? And I'm betting they were just waiting for crafting. None of these monthly reports are the ones where they talk about it. I think it might have been May or April. But it looks, feature complete internal demo. This could definitely be a 4.8 thing. Internal work was also done on how the long-term database works with the intention of improving its speed. Benoit talked about that last month. Alongside members of core gameplay, online services planned for the social features as mentioned above. Instancing is entering its final stage of technical work. before being passed down to the downstream teams. So we saw downstream teams also tackling capital ship services. Just to give you an idea of kind of the different things that are moving throughout the company at the same pace. Following the Bootstrap user survey, the Live Tools team conducted user interviews to better understand pain points and prioritize improvements to stability and performance. The Panic Switch error reporting tool saw active improvements in February, with new deployment updates, better across management, access management, and more consistent user interface across the application. Live Tools continued to modernize the Hex game dashboard with the new architecture now in active implementation. I don't even think I have footage of Hex. Unfortunately, this is a program that we only had a little bit of idea of how it worked, and because Turbulence website has been shut down, I think, definitely doesn't look the same. Originally, what you would be able to do is come onto this website and you could look at the Star Citizen page, and they had displays of the different tech they've built for Star Citizen. That includes the Hex editor, it includes Odin, it includes Spectrum, but now that's all gone. And it didn't repopulate on Star Citizen's website, so we kind of lost a little bit of information with that, unfortunately. R&D. In February, work on the improved ground fog continued. A dissipation model was implemented to simulate fog behavior during a full day and night cycle. I love a good night fog, dude. Especially when it's a full moon. It's like clouds on the ground. Elsewhere, a memory corruption in the engine's internal name table code was identified. This is it, folks. This is why I kept dying. This is why I couldn't beat all of the other players. Anybody who was able to kill me in the last couple of months, it was because of this. So the memory corruption in the engine's internal name table was identified. This led to a rewrite of the name table code and related functionality, which now provides a thread-safe and significantly more efficient implementation. Good. On the VFX side, in February, the team focused heavily on supporting Alpha 4.7, contributing to the development of new locations, new creatures, props, and vehicles as additional deliverables for Nyx came online. New creatures is interesting. See, they're working on something. For example, one of the major points of interest for 4.7 received extensive fine-tuning, resulting in a significantly improved final look. Wonder what that was. Creatures for Nyx also received a dedicated VFX pass to ensure their visuals are up to date and properly integrated into the new environments. In addition, the team helped bring several upcoming vehicles to life. I bet you the creatures are waiting for Nyx 1. They're gonna have a couple new creatures coming with the new Nyx planets. But that's the monthly report, folks. Hope you enjoyed this little development dive into the progress and features that are going on. We're gonna jump into ships now. So that'll be a different video, but if you're on the stream here, you can stick right here and we're gonna pull up the ship tracking ship sheet. Ship sheet.